It was the perfect crime, a heist so bold it defied belief. On a quiet night in March 1990, two men dressed as police officers entered the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston and walked out with 13 priceless works of art, valued at over $500 million. Paintings by Vermeer, Rembrandt, Degas, and Manet vanished into the night, leaving behind only empty frames and countless questions. How did they do it? Who were they? And where is the missing art today? Join us as we unravel the story of the greatest art theft in history, a mystery that has haunted the art world for over 30 years. Discover the clues, the suspects, and the secrets that still lie hidden behind the museum's walls. This is the tale of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist, and it's unlike any other. On the night of March 18, 1990, the streets of Boston were hushed with the remnants of St. Patrick's Day celebrations. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, a grand palace of art and culture, stood silent and dark against the cloudy sky. Inside, priceless masterpieces by Vermeer, Rembrandt, and Degas hung undisturbed in gilded frames, their secrets hidden beneath the brushstrokes of the great masters. But the calm that enveloped the museum would soon be shattered by a crime so audacious, it would leave the art world and law enforcement baffled for decades. It was just after midnight when two men dressed as Boston police officers approached the side entrance of the museum. The night guard, Rick Abath, sat in the security office, half listening to a local radio station while glancing occasionally at the security monitors. A young musician by day, Abath had taken the job to support his passion for music, never imagining he'd be at the center of an unsolved mystery. The men buzzed the intercom, claiming they were responding to a disturbance. Confused but trusting the familiar blue uniforms, Abath let them in. As soon as the supposed officers entered, something felt off. They didn't ask for identification or details about the disturbance. Before he could react, they instructed him to step away from the desk. Abath hesitated, but they quickly overpowered him and handcuffed him to a pipe in the basement. They then lured the second guard, who had been patrolling the galleries, down to the basement as well, securing him alongside Abath. For the next 81 minutes, the museum was theirs. The men moved through the museum with purpose, not like amateurs, but as if they knew exactly what they wanted. They made their way to the Dutch room, where they carefully cut The Storm on the Sea of Galilee and A Lady and Gentleman in Black, both by Rembrandt, from their frames. Next, they took Vermeer's The Concert, one of only 34 known works by the artist, and Govert Flink's Landscape with an Obelisk. Moving with almost surgical precision, they bypassed other valuable pieces, suggesting a specific target rather than a random grab. The thieves then entered the short gallery, removing 5 Degas sketches and a Chinese bronze beaker. Oddly, they also stole a small eagle finial from a Napoleonic flagpole in the Dutch room, an item of negligible value compared to the art they had taken. Before leaving, they made their way to the Blue Room and took a Manet painting, Chez Tortoni. They left behind a Vermeer and a Titian, two of the museum's most valuable pieces. After 81 minutes, they vanished into the early morning mist with 13 works of art valued at over $500 million. It wasn't until the next shift arrived hours later that the heist was discovered. Panic spread through the museum like wildfire. The museum director was called, the FBI notified, and soon the news of the theft was plastered across headlines worldwide. Art lovers, curators, and law enforcement agencies were stunned. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum had been stripped of some of its greatest treasures, and no one knew who was responsible. The investigation began immediately, but the trail was cold from the start. The FBI formed a task force, believing the theft to be the work of organized crime. They pursued leads across the globe, from the dark corners of Boston's underworld to the art markets of Europe. But every lead turned into a dead end. The stolen artwork seemed to have vanished into thin air. Over time, numerous theories emerged. Some speculated that the heist was orchestrated by a well-known Boston mobster who sought to use the paintings as bargaining chips to negotiate reduced sentences for his associates. Others believed it was the work of an international art thief who had carefully studied the museum and its vulnerabilities. A former IRA operative was even suggested, with theories that the art had been hidden in secret vaults in Ireland, traded for weapons or political leverage. Despite the theories, the investigation stalled. The museum offered a $1 million reward for information leading to the recovery of the art, which was later increased to $10 million. A hotline was set up and tips poured in from around the world, but none led to the stolen treasures. Years passed and the FBI began to focus on two suspects, Carmine the Snake Romano and Bobby the Cook Donati, both known associates of the Boston underworld. But both men were dead before they could be questioned thoroughly, taking whatever secrets they might have had to their graves. Meanwhile, Rick Abeth, the night guard who had let the thieves in, became a person of interest. The FBI discovered that he had opened and closed the side door shortly before the heist, an action captured on security footage that had never been explained. Was it a coincidence or a signal? Abeth was questioned repeatedly, but he denied any involvement, insisting he was merely an unwitting accomplice in the grand scheme. Years turned into decades, and the empty frame still hung in the museum, a haunting reminder of the missing art. Visitors continued to flock to the Gardner, drawn as much by the unsolved mystery as by the remaining masterpieces. The museum, bound by the will of Isabella Stewart Gardner herself, was unable to replace the stolen works, leaving the empty spaces as they were on the day of the heist, a testament to one of the greatest unsolved art thefts in history. Despite numerous theories, investigations, and promises of immunity, the paintings remained missing. Was the heist truly an inside job, as some believed? Did the thieves even know the value of what they had stolen? Or were they simply following orders from a mysterious mastermind? And why had they left behind some of the most valuable pieces, taking instead a seemingly random assortment of works? In 2013, the FBI announced that they had identified the thieves, but refused to release their names, stating only that both men were deceased. The art, they claimed, had been moved through various locations in the criminal underworld, including Philadelphia and Connecticut. But the trail had gone cold once more. The stolen art was still out there somewhere. To this day, the frames remain empty, the crime unsolved, and the questions unanswered. Where are the masterpieces now? Were they destroyed, or are they hidden in a private collection, perhaps gracing the walls of a shadowy figure who enjoys them in secret? Or could they still be locked away, awaiting the day when they will resurface, as mysteriously as they vanished? The mystery of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist lingers, a ghost story whispered through the hallowed halls of the museum. And perhaps, somewhere, the lost paintings themselves hold the key to their own disappearance, their secrets hidden beneath layers of paint, waiting for the day they might finally be found. But until then, they remain out of reach, like a mirage in the desert of lost treasures. And so, the mystery of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist remains unsolved. 13 masterpieces worth over $500 million disappeared into the darkness that fateful night in 1990, and the world has been searching for them ever since. Were they lost forever, or are they hidden away in a private collection, waiting to be discovered? Who were the men behind the masks, and could the clues to their identities still be hidden in plain sight? What do you think happened to the missing art? Share your theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories from the world of true crime and history. And hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive.